Gracious, sorry, technical difficulties. Ooh-wee. Hello, everyone. Sorry, I was having a bit of a hiccup. Yeah, I'm sure you couldn't tell. Hello, everyone. She's live. She's alive. She's alive. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. Something wasn't right on my end. Yeah, sorry. Oh well. It's only 1:01. We're okay. You thought I should be a dimensional person? Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see everyone. Yeah, I was offline. I don't start until 2 o'clock Eastern, but yeah, I had a little hiccup there for a minute. Anyway, I's good. Yes, I is good, Jan. I am. It's good to see you guys today. Thank you for being here. It is Drama Free Friday. I am Barb. And I just always love it when it's Drama Free Friday, but I start with a little bit of drama. Sometimes that happens. Yeah, sometimes it happens. Some of us are more dimensional than others. That is entirely true. Some of us are. So I'm Barb Owen of HowToGetCreative.com. And just getting stuff out of my way here for a second. Anyway, thank you for being here. And in case you're new, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And welcome to everybody I see coming in. You are welcome, Nancy. You are welcome. Hello, hello. Hi, Arlena. And let's see, Lori and Suze. Hey, Marion. Nancy, Yvonne. Hi, Yvonne. Hello, Jane. Good to be here. Good to see you. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you're here. Hello, Linda McAllister. Let's see who else is here. Dar and Jan and May, also known as Mary because everybody misreads her name. So she answers to May or Mary. Tori. Hello, Tori. Dorothy. Rowesta. Deborah. Just glancing back. Hi, Frederica. Just glancing back. Jael. Is that how you say your name? Jael. If that's not right, you'll have to... Hi, Karen. You'll have to put it in the chat phonetically. I see Clausman's in the house. Good enough. Yeah, I had a comment earlier from Dorothy. Hey, Barbara. Hello, Via from Finland. Wow. And if I mispronounce your name, I do apologize. Hi, Ian. Good to see you. Hi, Meg. Munganana Meg. What was I saying? my attention span's this long today. Notifications. I had a comment that the notification didn't go out to people that I was live. Well, it doesn't go out until I am actually live. So if you've signed up for the notification, it has to be there. You'll get it after I go live. So if you've signed up through me to get notifications, it usually goes out about 1:08 or 1:10. So just so you know, that's why we kind of fiddle around here and chat for a minute, to give everybody a chance to get here. Let's see. Hello, Linda. You ordered the face stamps? Okay. Hopefully they're either on their way to you or I haven't noticed the order yet, but I will check and see after this. I can't remember whether I shipped yours or not yet. I'm down to the very, very last few sets. I have like 12 or 13 sets left, and that's it. That's it. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Becky. Nancy sits and lurks and refreshes for half an hour. Hi, Brandy. And Ian says notifications have had some problems this week. Okay. Hi, Ann. Hi, Amelie. Okay. Hi, Katie. Must be a messy day. Yep, got on the apron today. Hi, Nanette. Haven't seen you in a long time. Good to have you here. I haven't seen you in the chat. Okay, Linda, good. Yeah, they went out. If you got the email, they were mailed yesterday. I think they all went out. So you should have them by the first of the week. I'm not sure where you are, but you should have them by the first of the week if you're in the States. If you're out of the States, it'll take a little bit longer. Hi, Vicki. Got two Vickies in the house today. I have a happy face on today. Yes, I do. I have a happy face on. It's a good day today, so welcome to my studio. I'm glad that you're here. We're gonna play today because I think we all need to play. So as I started to say a little bit ago, my name is Barb Owen of HowToGetCreative.com. Thank you so much for being here. HowToGetCreative.com, in case you are new, is a membership website. And we have different levels of membership. We have all kinds of video classes and tips and tricks videos. And the VIP members have classes once a month. There's recordings for them. So there's a lot that goes on over there. But as I said, it is a membership website. You can join it for $1 for a month. And then after that, then you become a monthly member, or you can decide you don't want to be a monthly member. And that is totally up to you. Oh, you are, Nanette? Oh, how nice. Hi, Krista. Nope, no haircut, not yet. No, the flower does not spit water. It does not. It is one of my fabric paper flowers. Hello, Cindy. But I have seen those flowers that do, joke flowers that do spit water. They are kind of funny. Okay, so let us chat for a moment. Let's see. One of the things I wanted to make you guys aware of, Katie Fowler that's in the chat, she is Sugar and Cider, sorry. Sugar and Cider, you'll see her in the chat there, has a pretty new YouTube channel, at least it's new to me. And I want you guys to be aware of that. So you can click on her name and go to her channel, or you can search it later, but it's Sugar, S-U-G-A-R, and then ampersand, which is the and sign, Cider, C-I-D-E-R, all one word, Sugar and Cider by Katie Fowler. And she's got, one of the things she's got up on her channel right now is a tour of her studio space. And she is kind of like me in that she's interested in lots of different kinds of things. And so it's interesting to see, I always find it interesting to see how people have laid out their creative spaces. So you might want to go do that. It's in 3 parts. Not only do you get to see some fun organizational ideas and some storage ideas, and she does a lot of, she uses a lot of things that are like found storage items and stuff, which is really good ideas. But you also get to see some of her art, so that's pretty cool too. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. Hi, Carla. Amelie says, we Germans probably have not that much humor as far as the squirting flowers. Yes, that's true. That could be. It's a lot of Americans that don't have that much humor either. So Jan got her healing foot into the art room. Good for you. Jan's been healing her foot up. Let's see. Just catching up on the chat for a minute. And hi, Sandy. Katie. Oh, that was nice. So Stephen Bland Stephen is in England at the moment, and he was just broadcasting from England. So that's cool. And he said hello. So hello back to you, Stephen. That was nice. Okay. So there you go. So I just wanted to tell you about that because Katie is she's doing some interesting things over there at her channel. So I just thought you might want to know about a brand new YouTube channel. Okay, let's having tea today. This is Breathe Easy Tea, because I'm still having a little bit of, the crud. Not much, just a little bit. And Breathe Easy Tea is good, and it helps. Hello, not that Martha Sally, also known as Sally Ann Snickerbucker. Happy Friday the 13th to you as well. It's going to be a good day. So thank you to all of you. I had many very kind comments about the stream last week, and I wanted to thank you for that. That was very sweet. So we are ready to talk about just a little bit of a review. First of all, just a little bit of business. I don't know if CB is here, also known as Carol, and Christine. I don't know if Christine's here. I haven't seen either of them in the chat, but if you happen to watch the recording or be listening to me, I don't have your addresses, so your cards are here waiting for you. Yeah, your cards that you won in the drawing are here waiting for you. So CB and Christine, if you will get your address to me, just go to HowToGetCreative.com. You'll see a tab on the side, or there's tabs everywhere that say support, or send us a support ticket, or contact us, or whatever. And just fill that out with your address and just say card winner or something, so I have it, okay? So there you go. So that's old business. Last week we did the Tattered Angels mixed media papers, and so I painted those last week, and there's a whole blog post about that at HowToGetCreative.com. If you go to that address, the first page that comes up is where you'll see all the pictures of the blog posts, and so you'll see that's the first blog post in the line. And so if you want to see up close and personal better pictures, go to the blog post and you can click on the pictures and they'll expand. Hello, Josie. Nice to have you, each of you. So here is what I did. I wanted to show you what I did with the completed sheets. There was one that was a rooster and one that was a sunflower. And then on the back of the sunflower sheet were all these beautiful leaves and pine cones and stuff. So I painted one sheet, one side of the sunflower. You guys watched that. I painted a second sheet of the leaves, and then I painted another sheet that had the rooster on it. What's on the back of the rooster didn't impress me a whole lot, so I didn't paint it. Anyway, so here we go. So I'm going to show you what I did with the sheets. So there's going to be a lot of reflection on this because this is inside plastic, so I'm going to sneak this out a little bit. So you can see as I pull it out how much more intense the colors are. And so what I did was I cut the sheet down to fit inside. This is a binder. You can see the binder. So I cut it down to fit inside the binder, which of course it doesn't want to go back in there easily. So we're going to probably just leave it out because it doesn't want to go. These binder things are irritating sometimes. Of course, it could be that I cut it a little snug too, right? Anyway, close enough. And this was what I took off the side here. So this is part of the sheet. And then I used paint pens and I wrote ideas and stuff because this is one of my idea collection things. And so I have different tabs in here for different kinds of things that I stick in this notebook. So I just wrote ideas and stuff to crow about. So that was that one. This is the one that you watched me do. Hey, Jamie, and anybody that I might have missed, thank you for being here. So this is the sunflower that we did on stream last week, and this is done using the Ken Oliver color bursts and water and a little bit of varnish to make them permanent. The background is done with the Distress Oxide inks. And I just cut it out and I left the binding. So this is the binding on a composition notebook. So this is just a softback composition notebook. and I glued it on here. And then once it was dry, I put it under weight. And once it was dry, I trimmed around the edge and then edged it with ink and so forth. And so the back is just a patchwork of all the different papers that I had left over. Okay. And then what I did in here is I have some, it's from Viva Decor, and it's kind of like the Perfect Pearls product, but it's black, and it's from the company Viva Decor. And I used that and just put some little dots in there. Just since it's all patchwork together, it's like, you know, if it is used as patchwork, then, you know, don't try and make it look like one sheet, because it's not. And so I just patchworked it together. The other parts of the sunflower, so this part of the sunflower sheet, right, I think it was on this sheet somewhere. I took the other parts of this and I covered a small moleskin. This is the pocket size moleskin. And so I used that to cover the pocket moleskin. I love having these on hand, and this was as wide as the strip was. The cover itself actually goes this far. So here's another one. So this is what it looks like when it's naked. These come 3 in a package. And so I used what I had, which was the strip, and then just let the natural binding show. I may put some tape on it or something later. And this was more of the strip. So same thing, just put them on there. And then the sheet with the leaves, I made card fronts. So these are not completed cards yet. These are just card fronts with the leaves. So this was the back side of the sunflower sheet. Thanks, you guys. I'm glad that you like them. Oh, steal away. I don't put anything on here that on YouTube Live that you can't borrow and make it your own. And so some of these are more in a horizontal format. So these are all just card fronts. Let's see if I can do these where you can see them. So I just cut them apart, put them on, don't look, it's naked. Hi, Ellen. Hi, Bonnie. BJ is Bonnie. Yeah, this paper, I mean, you guys, if you have not felt this paper, it is the nicest feeling paper. I'm not kidding you. It does not feel like any other kind of paper. It is just really something. So these are this was from the leaf side of the paper, and I just cut it out. Now you can see if you look real closely, these are not necessarily on here very straight. I'm not good at that. You know, we all have our things that we're good at. I am not good about centering things on these pieces of paper and cards. I'm just not good at it. If you're not good at it, you're not good at it. So I don't worry about it. I just do something and I just keep on going. So there. So those are 3 of the card fronts. And here are 3 more. Same thing. So these are all ready to just attach to a card base. And once they're attached to a card base, then I'll put on a sentiment, you know, like I'll add words or whatever, you know. So anyway. Okay, question. So they didn't bleed at all. They were permanent. What I did was, after they were finished, I sprayed them. You can read the blog post about it. I sprayed them with a Crayola product, and that's what I do with most things that are highly water soluble, and most of the time I find that it's not a problem. So yeah, so that's what I did. And then on some of them I experimented with using the matte medium and put the powders into matte medium and use that as the paint, as opposed to the powders with varnish in it. So both of them had very similar looks, and they were very nice. Now I have not gone over them with a brush coat of varnish. I don't know whether that will You know, if I went over a brush coat of varnish, like on the notebook, the composition notebook, for example, if I went over that with a brush coat, would it run? I don't know, because I didn't do that. So, might. What kind of paper is it? It is from the company Tattered Angels Mixed Media Paper. And again, if you go to the blog post, what I do on that is I link all the products so you can go see what I'm talking about. And I linked directly to the Tattered Angels website. So you go directly to them and you can see all the different options for papers. But it is just the most amazing, the paper just has an amazing feel to it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's what I did with those. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to play with a kid's product. And it's called Model Magic. And it comes different ways. Tori, if you just go to the blog post, you can see the product. It's a Krylon product. It's a Krylon spray matte finish. And if you just go to the blog post, you'll see it and it's linked, and you can click the link and you can see exactly what it is I'm talking about. So, okay. So on to Model Magic. So this is what we're playing with today. This is by the company Crayola. So it's truly a kid's product. I found this at the craft store. I don't know if Walmart has it or, you know, any other big box store like that. I looked and I didn't see it. So this is Model Magic. You can get it like this. You can get it in tubs. You can also get it in packets, you know, like a box that has smaller packets in it. The advantage to the smaller packets, although it costs a little bit more, is that you're not committed to using it up. Where once you open a packet like this, which is not super huge, it's 4 ounces, but once you open it up, you really need to use it all the way. Because my experience is once you use it, even if you try to get all the air out of it, it does not remain soft. So yeah, Michael's has that. That's where I got this. Well, I got it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby one. So it's a Crayola product. It's called Model Magic. It is an air dry clay. It is super inexpensive in my opinion. And yeah. And everything, pretty much everything I'm using today, I've linked in the description box below the video. If you want to click on links, you can go see what I'm talking about. You can also buy it in tubs. So you can get a tub of like 2 pounds or a pound. And so you can get it that way. But once you open it, honestly, you need to use it. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to open one of these. And I think we'll use the blue because I think maybe it will show better. And we're taking inspiration from this book today, Printmaking Unleashed. This is by Traci, Bautista. Again, I linked it in the description box below the video so you can see what I'm talking about. If you like to do mark making and printmaking, this is a really good reference book. So we're taking inspiration from this. Okay. Is it like paper clay? It's similar to paper clay. Similar, but like paper clay can be used in a fine art sense. You know, you can use it to make dolls with. You can make it to use jewelry and various kinds of things that you can use the paper clay for, the true paper clay. This is a kid's product, so you're going to pay much less for this, but it is an air dry clay. This dries and remains kind of soft and spongy. So it is different, but similar. Hi, Margaret. Okay, Barbara says she actually bought some on clearance where it had almost dried out. She put it in a Ziploc baggie, added water, and walked away for a while and reconstituted. Okay, cool. That's good. Good to know. Good to know. Okay. So, Printmaking Unleashed, that's where the inspiration is coming from today. It's a good book if you like things about mark making and printmaking. Okay, so we have our Bag O Model Magic. And I'm going to use a separate board. This is my crud board that I do alcohol inks and stuff like that on. And I have a variety of tools here just to make, because what we're going to do is we're going to make some print plates and some stamps out of it. So I just have a variety of things here to mess around with. I have a cardboard tube. This is not like, I don't know what came on this, I don't remember, but it's not like your paper towel tube. It's much smaller in diameter. Clausman gave this to me, so maybe he knows what it came from. But anyway, it was a tube of cardboard tube. I have a roller. This is just a clay roller, but you could use, you could use a bottle. It doesn't really matter. This is just a dowel. So this is a dowel stick. Nothing fancy. It's just a dowel stick. I think this came in a bag of stuffing, actually. This is a needle, kind of a needle tool type thing. Nothing fancy about this. Came in a set of tools that I got sometime. And then this is a piece of plastic. It's the inside of something. I don't know what. But something was wrapped around this. I don't know if it was tape or what it was, or adding machine tape or something like that. Anyway, it's a circle. And then I also have a piece of straw. And this is a little smaller in diameter than this one. So 2 different sizes of circles. Hello, Bev. Thank you. Hello, Claxy. Nice to have you join us. Thank you. And then I have some cutters. And these are meant for polymer clay. I like these in the different sizes, so I tend to, actually these are all the ones that I have. But I like them in the sizes of the shapes like this, and I keep those because it sure makes cutting out the same shape in different sizes really easy. So that's kind of what we're playing with. If there's something else I decide I want to use, we'll get it out. Hello, Barbara. Good to see you. You're finally here. We have 2 Barbaras in the house besides me. That's great. Okay. So we're going to use all this, so I'm just going to open it. Hello, Vicky. I have several Vickies in the house today, too. All right, so this is the size chunk that you get. So you can see it's about the size of my hand. The thickness, it's actually about the thickness of the width of my fingers, just to give you an idea. So I'm just going to squeeze off about half of this. It's a very spongy feeling clay. It is unlike anything else that I'm aware of. And then what I'm not using is going to go right in the plastic and wait for me for a minute. And you really don't have to do a whole lot of stuff to prepare this like you do polymer clay. You have to condition it. This stuff you really don't. This is made for kids. We should be able to do this, people. It's made for children. We should be able to do this, right? Suze, go ahead and ask, and I'll see if I can answer for you. Clausman should be able to answer as well. You can always send me a support ticket if you would rather do that. And you just fill that out. You can ask any questions you want there too. If you follow me on Twitter, you can ask questions there as well. Okay. So I'm just using this clay roller that I have. There's nothing magic about this. It's a piece of, it's acrylic, round acrylic. They do sell it in the polymer clay section, but yeah, nothing magic about it. If you have a nice a round bottle, smooth bottle of some kind, that would work as well. Margaret says she wonders if kid stuff is sometimes more challenging. You know, you got a point there. You got a point. Okay, so I've rolled it to about, maybe a little less than 1/4 of an inch thick, right? That's all I've done. I don't care if stuff gets in it or anything else. Yes, don't leave it too long or it will harden. You are correct. All right, so that's what we've got. Oh, and the other thing I didn't show you that I have some rubber stamps, and I also have some VersaMark. Hey, Janet. And I also have some VersaMark ink. Okay, so I have some rubber stamps, and this is just an eclectic mix of stamps. I mean, I literally just pulled these out. I'll show them to you. Most of these I got at garage sales. This was $1. That was $1 for a whole set of stamps, by the way. And no, it's not $1 a month. It's $1 for the first month. Yeah, it's $1 for the first month. And then after that, there's a monthly charge. So, yeah. Okay, so here is, let's take this off so you can actually see. Don't neglect looking at garage sales or thrift sales, thrift stores, thrift sales, whatever, boot sales, whatever you want to call them, for rubber stamps, because rubber stamps kind of come and go as far as what is popular. But what's really nice is that these kind of basic shapes like this are just super for doing this kind of thing. And so I try to keep them on hand for exactly that purpose. So I'm just going to pull some of these out. And here's some more that make some interesting designs. Most of these are Stampin' Up, old sets of Stampin' Up stamps. So let's use, maybe we'll pull one of these out. Maybe it's good to have a variety of stamps. Hey CB, I was talking about you earlier. You need to send me your address because your card's waiting for you. I don't have it. Hi Katrina. Yeah, secondhand stamps are perfect. And then it's nice to have graphic elements as well. You know, if you want to do certain specific kinds of print plates, because that's what we're making, is a print plate here that we're going to then play around with and see what we can do. And this is one of my stamps. So this is one of the Fun Faces stamps. Okay? Oh, that's okay, CB. No problem. No problem. I just wanted to send it to you. Okay, so I'm just going to move these off to the side and bring back my little thing of clay. And the reason I have the VersaMark out is that VersaMark ink has glycerin in it, and it will keep your stamps from sticking to your clay. I did notice that if you didn't use something to prep the surface, they will stick to this. So this is an easy fix. So, and then you just start stamping and making texture. So you can plan this out. Okay. And you just kind of have to experiment with it as to how hard you want to push this into the surface. And I go off the edges here and there. Okay. And then I just set that to the side and pick up another one. Because what we're after here is just, all I'm doing is just making designs. Just kind of wherever I decide to do it. Okay. And then I'm going to just pick up, it's random. Totally random. I find that the more random, the better I like them. So, hello Melody, nice to see you. Thanks everybody for being here today. And I don't worry too much if some of them are more deeply impressed than others. You know, it's like, whatever. That's okay. So this one is obviously going to have kind of a floral theme going on. Which will be kind of fun. And then just for grins and giggles, let's throw in some spirals. So I'm going to put some ink on that. This is showing up quite well, so that's good. I'm happy about that. Okay, now right here I got the edge of the stamp in here, so I'll show you what I do about that. I'm going to use this one, which is just a kind of a squiggly kind of thing. Now here's the thing about this. If you don't like what you got, just wad it all up while it's still nice and soft. Start over. Okay, so now I've got some little tiny flowers. So I'm going to kind of fill in. Now, do you have to fill it in this much? No, not really. This is, as inexpensive as this stuff is, you just truly play with it and see what you like, right? I do like stamping off the edge so that I distort that edge and make it irregular. And I have another one that's a spot, just a circle. So this one is going to indent into the clay. Good. I'm really glad about that, Lisa. I hope they get that under control for sure. All right, now if I go to the straw or this tube looking thing, and I just come in here like where I've got this this hard line that I didn't really mean, I'll just camouflage that. And then if I want to make lines or circles that intersect, I can just go over them and just make impressions and just see. So these are going to make an impression that stands up, and the other one, which was the stamp, is going to make an impression that goes down, which may not make any sense what I just said, but take me for what my mom used to say, take me for what I mean, not for what I say. And if you want some small divots, you can just use a stick. Now, do you know what this is going to look like? Not really. Not until it's dry and you can use it. So you just kind of play with it until you get, and you can even go in the middle of some of these circles and go like that. Okay? Hi, Debbie. All right, so that is what we're going to do with this one. I'm going to call it good. I'm going to declare it good. Put my cover back on my ink. Hi, Cass. Nice to have you join us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and it will peel off your mat easily, okay? And then I have an old cooling rack that like you would cool cookies on. You know, it's a grid, metal grid type thing. And I just put them on that, and then you can just let them sit out and air dry. Or what I did was I put them in my oven with the light bulb on inside my oven, which is probably not the most economical thing to do. However, it worked. Okay? So I'm just going to set this off to the side for the moment. And we'll do another one, but this one will make into a, so this is like a texture plate, okay? It's not a lot of relief, but everything is impressed into the clay. And it will change as it dries, so yeah, that happens too. Hi Beth, nice to see you. So this is the other part of that clay. So I'm going to take off a hunk of it here. So I'm going to have 2 hunks. Maybe I'll make it into more or less, not quite even, but more or less. So I'm just kind of softening it up. I don't know. Just, it's a nice squishy clay. And just kind of making it into a ball. I didn't find that it cracked. The question was, does it crack if it dries too fast? I didn't find that it cracked, but I did find that today I put it in, I did put it in the oven. I had a piece that I was wanting to make sure it got dry, and I had put something in the oven earlier today that I had on broil, and I thought the oven was cooled down enough to put it in there, so I just put it back in there after I thought it was cooled down. And indeed what it did, instead of cracking, it bubbled in one spot. So, you know, it's a kid's thing, so it's one of those things that you kind of have to just play around with, right? All right, so I'm just rolling this out. Again, I'm going to roll it about the same thickness, so about 1/4 of an inch. Hello, Krissa. Yep, the technical department is wonderful, isn't he? And then we're going to do the same thing here. So just don't put it in, you know, if you're going to put it in your oven, I would not put it in the oven with any heat on, you know, just the light bulb. Or at least that's what I did. I used the light bulb, warmth from the light bulb to kind of dry it out. It's probably best if it just sits out and dries, but of course I didn't start early enough in the week because I was busy with other stuff, you know what I mean? It happens, doesn't it? Okay, so one of these is going to be the stamp, and I think we'll use this one as the stamp, the smaller one actually, and we'll use this piece to harvest from. How's that? How's that for a bad term? All right, so we're going to just take some of these oval cutters because we have them, and let's do the smaller 2. We might use another one of them, but I don't know. I don't know where Race is. I asked him today. I had a question for him, and what we do, I always say to him, I'll send him a text message and I'll say, are you available? And he does the same thing to me because we work remotely all the time. And so I asked him if he was available, and he wrote back and said, in. So I'm like, okay. However, you never know. He could pop in at any moment. At any moment. Okay, back to this. So what we've got here is we've got one big piece and one small piece. There's no reason. There's no rhyme or reason. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I found that the clay wants to stick inside the little cutter, and that's another reason that I have this little dowel. And so I just gently pop it out. I don't know if it'll work if we use the VersaMark or not. So let's see. I just stamped it on the VersaMark first. No, that didn't seem to make any difference. Okay, so just gently pop them out. Now you'll notice that I'm popping them out over beside what I'm doing. I'm not doing it and letting them land on the clay, because what I found happened is if I let them land on the clay, they immediately stuck together. Exactly, Ellen. Anytime I get illegal fluids, Race will come in and just make his presence known. Yeah, Clausman's usually just in the background watching, keeping an eye out in case I need him. Sometimes I put out an SOS and say, could you get me such and such? And he'll bring me. He's my runner when he's here. Sometimes he's not here, so then I got to do my own running. Okay, so I'm just doing a bunch of ovals. Okay, popping them out, not letting them touch each other. Okay, because we don't want them to connect. Hi, Angelica. I'm going to use another size, a little bigger, and I'll cut some of those. Now, these, if you can get your finger in there, you can probably pop them out like that. But that little bitty guy, I have to use a pokey tool of some kind. If you got little bitty fingers, you could stick your little bitty fingers in there. But if you got fat fingers, not so much. All right, so we've got a few petals here. I'm going to just make some flowers out of these because it's easy. You could make abstract designs, of course. Let's build some flowers. So we'll set this off to the side for a minute. And so I'm just going to take one of these and just pat it. Now you do want these to be about the same height if possible. And just pat them together, and I found that they stuck quite well to the clay. In fact, if you stick them down, if you drop them on the clay, it's hard to get them back off. So, and then I'm going to put some on the side. Yeah, the excess would be a cool stamp as well. Now you can let some of these hang off the edge also. And then we'll take this one and see what we can do with it. The bigger size. So sort of a flower form kind of thing going on here. And then maybe we'll add a couple more little ones, maybe one more little one. Right here, maybe this way. So they look kind of like jelly beans there. If you want to do centers, you could do that. This isn't my original idea, Katie. Don't give me that much credit. I told you we lifted it. Inspiration straight from Traci Bautista's Printmaking Unleashed. Okay, so I'm just going to put a center in here just because. The thing that's nice about it is it's inexpensive stuff, you know, and if it doesn't work out exactly the way you expected, you're like, oh, well, you know. That one needs a little bit more. I'm telling you, once you put it on there, you cannot get it back off. So You can always wad the whole thing up, however, and start over, as long as it's not too dry. Okay, now, if you want to give the petals some texture, I'm going to take this and just wad it up for the moment. We'll do something else with that. I don't know what, but we'll do something else. See if we can do something that's kind of a geometric thing here in a minute. Uh-oh. There he is. Here we are talking about him, and yep, he shows up. Yes, he does. Okay, so I'm using the needle tool, and I'm just giving it some texture. Because why not? Talk about the technical department, and it is guaranteed he is going to come out of the woodwork, isn't it? Or let me get out the illegal fluids. Okay, now if you want to make the center have some texture, you know, you can take something, let's just take the straw and just give it some texture. I don't know if you can see that yet, but we'll use the bigger camera here in a minute. Ellen, you are correct. You are correct. So I'm just laying this down and just pressing into the clay. Okay, that's all I'm doing. But you do have to be careful that you press it where you want the texture, because if you press it, you know, if you get a mark where you didn't intend it, it's going to be there more than likely, you know. So let's put a little more texture here. Just a little bit. And then let's do this one. You can always tell when I get tired of doing something because I start going faster and faster. Do you guys do that? Do you go faster when you get tired of doing something? Now, this color I noticed is slumping back together a little bit more than some of the other ones that I used. So that's interesting. So you'll have to kind of play, as I said earlier, you'll have to play with, this is all a big experiment, folks. Just see if it works. If you get the results you like, you go, yay, this is great. And if you don't, you go, well, I only spent $4 or $5 on it, you know? Okay, so let's take a look here. Let me zoom in so you can see a little closer. So you see the texture? Jamie goes faster when she gets bored. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Okay. Faster and sloppier. Yeah, that's the truth. I'm glad you guys you understand. Okay, so you could do more of this. You know, you could fill up more of it if you want. And if you don't, like I'm bored with doing this one, so I'm going to leave it alone. So again, I would let this sit and dry, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to set this off to the side with the other one, and we're going to just let it dry. It says usually a day or two. Mine didn't last. Mine didn't have the luxury of a day or two. So yeah, so mine, I started doing the ones that I'm going to use today. I started doing them yesterday afternoon. So I did some yesterday afternoon and some last night. And they're pretty dry. They might get drier. I don't know. We're just playing today. We're playing. The white clay softens your hands. I haven't really noticed, but I haven't played with it that long. Actually, I don't know that I used any. Yeah, I did have one package of white. I didn't notice that they made my hands really soft, but you know, I'll have to notice that now. Okay, so there's another piece. So let's do this one. I do know that that if you let the clay sit out on your work surface, it immediately starts drying. So you do want to be cognizant of that. Any air dry clay would probably be similar to this. This is just so inexpensive. That's what's cool about this. Inexpensive is another way of saying cheap. Okay, let's use this little guy, and we're just going to make a kind of an abstract kind of a deal. So maybe we'll use this. Maybe we'll use these three shapes, since that's what I have. How about if we use those? Okay, so we're going to use this as the stamp, and we'll use this as the donor clay. And I'm going to cut out the pieces and put them off to the side, and then we'll decide how we want to stick them on here. So just go on your merry way, cutting out things as much as you want. It's a good idea not to let them touch each other. See how quick that stuck together? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go for kind of odd numbers of things happening here, unless it doesn't turn out that way. If it doesn't turn out that way, then we'll use an even number. Not wetting the small stuff today. And maybe one more. Okay. So we have this little thing, and so this can actually turn into a stamp. I don't know. We'll just set it aside. It might dry down and make something cool. We'll just set it to the side. Okay, let's build something here. We're going to do this randomly. I'm not going to spend time thinking about this. We're just going to build a little thing, and we're just going to make it random. Like so. Okay, so we've just stuck shapes on top of there. Okay, this thing has texture on the handle, so I'm just gonna press this. I don't know that it will show up in the final thing, but hey, we'll put some texture on that, and then maybe we'll use this little straw and add some texture to some of the diamonds, or maybe all the diamonds, and maybe more texture, just for fun. Some of it is just to see what happens, you know. And then maybe we'll poke some holes. And I don't want them to look like dice, so I'm going to do them randomly. And then what else do we have? We have a little flower, so we'll just impress a little flower. And then let's just call it good, okay? Hi, Aristi. Model Magic is a kid's clay by the company Crayola. So there's links to all the stuff I'm using down in the description box, so you can click on that if you want to go see what I'm talking about, at least pretty much everything that I did. Okay, so what we've got so far, I'll line them all up here so you can see them, because I'm going to have to move them off the surface of the table, because if I don't move them off the table, they will get scrunched. And then I'll show you the ones I've already made, and then we're going to play with them. Does that sound good? You guys want to see what they do? Okay. I'm good, Aristi. Thank you. I hope you're doing well as well. So this is what we have. The one we just did, we did this kind of flower looking thing. These two are stamps, okay? This could be used as a stamp as well. This one, on the other hand, is more of a texture plate, just random texture plate, okay? Random texture plate, just all different kinds of stamps impressed into the surface. All right, let me get my rack so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is dedicated to clay and art stuff. It's a rack that I used to do cookies, back when I did cookies, but it rusted because I put it in the dishwasher and it wasn't really supposed to go in there. And so it is dedicated for clay stuff, but this allows air to get underneath it. And so then I'll just set it aside and let it dry and let it take as long as it takes. So that is that. All right. So here are the ones I've made, and I'll let you look at those while I get rid of my rack, this cookie rack, cooling rack. Okay. If anybody has any questions, be sure that you put them in caps in the chat so I have a chance to see. Hey, Sarah, I just saw you. Hi, is it Sahar? Nice to have you join us. Sarah is 3 dogs and 2 kids. She's in Scotland. I'd love it if for just a second, if you guys would pop in the chat what country you're from. I know many of you are from the United States and many of you are from Canada, but I would love to know wherever you're from if you want to stick it in the chat. If you want to, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Okay, so let me get rid of all my junk here. I'll sort all this stuff out later. We're just gonna. Oh, and I didn't even use my own face stamp. Can you believe it? Oh well, such is life. I forgot. So I'm just getting all this stuff off the table, out of the way. So I just have a little box. I have boxes and baskets of stuff that needs to be put away. I hope I'm not the only one that does that. Sweden, Canada, Australia. Wow, Catherine, you're in Australia. It must be yeah, Clausman lives in Barbville. That's right. Oh, Debbie lives on Mars. Germany. Hi, Ina. Netherlands. That's great. It's so much fun to see where you guys are watching from. Linda McAllister, are you in the Netherlands or are you pulling my leg? Are you in the Netherlands? I didn't know that. Barbland, that's right. Barbland or Barbville. Well, welcome everybody. It's so much fun to know where you're from, and it's so much fun to have you here. Yeah, I am in the, I have many boxes of junk. Yes, I do. Yes, yes, I do. It all needs to be sorted and put away. The good news is I know where it all goes. Mexico. Wow. That's great. Norway, England. Welcome, welcome. It's so much fun. I know Greece is represented. Sandy thought Clausman lived at the North Pole. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I didn't know that, Linda. I thought you, for some reason, I thought you were in Canada. Shows you what I know. So I'm just watching the chat for a minute just to see where everybody's from. It's just so much fun to see. So thank you for sharing that with me. I always love that. Okay, back to the business at hand. I thought you were in Canada. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I have no idea why. Who knows? I just got something in my head and I thought, that's that. You know how that is. We start thinking something and we think we know the truth and it's just a big fat lie. Okay. All right, so here are ones that I did. So I'm going to explain to you what I did to create these. So let's start with this one. Okay? This one came from this. Okay? This piece of stuff is a table runner or something. It's like felt. And a friend of mine, I have no idea where it came from. A friend of mine had it at the book club I go to. She brought it for everybody to share. I don't have any idea where it came from. It feels like one of those sponges that if you got it wet, it would expand. But it is, it's more like felt or something. So I grabbed a piece of it. So what I took was a piece of the Model Magic. I laid it down. Let's see if I can match it up. Right here. Okay. I laid it down like this. I took a brayer like this and I rolled over it like that. And it just peeled off and it left this great texture. And you can tell I've already used it. They remain flexible, but let me tell you, you're gonna have to treat these. You have to remember that this is clay that's meant for children. This is not meant as an art supply. We're ripping off the children to make an art supply. So you're going to have to be gentle with this. If you are particularly rough with your tools, this might not be your best thing, because I did find that I had to be a little careful with it when I was using it. Or you can crack the plate. You can crack the print plate. You can tear it up yourself. Or you can get pieces of it coming off the clay and stuff will stick to whatever you're printing on. So you're going to have to experiment with it and see what you do. Yeah. I know that they used to make these out of plastic, these table runners out of plastic, but I had never seen one made out of this, kind of compressed felt type thing. It's very odd. Anyway, the point is, when you are looking around for things that you want to experiment with, don't overlook anything. But this made a really great print plate. And then this, you can get the opposite impression here, where I'll show you what this prints like. This prints all of the big spaces this way. If you use this, you'll print just the outlines. So you get the positive and negative, which is what's cool about that. Okay? All right. So that's how this one was made. This one was made, this is also a print plate. This I made using all of those different these circle stamps, of which I had many. So I had circles and dots of different sizes, and that's what's on here. Nothing but circles and dots. And if you will see, I'm going to show you this real close. Do you see this place right here? There's a big divot right out of the clay, right here. Okay, I'm trying to get it where you can see. It looks like a crater right there. That's because I abused this, and that piece just pulled right out and stuck to what I was doing. Which was funny because I couldn't figure out where these little clumps of stuff were coming on showing up on my sheet of paper I was doing. So again, you have to be a little bit careful. I don't know if the paint dissolved, rehydrated some of the clay or what, but I would recommend that between using coats of paint that you dry it off and rotate your plates. It is flexible. Yeah, it is flexible. I don't know if you can tell that it's flexible, but you do want to be careful with it because you could rip it in half. It's flexible enough you could rip it. Okay, let's talk about this one while we're here. Let me get rid of this big old board because I don't need it anymore. This one is made using this set of stamps right here. So I have like a positive and negative of these two rubber stamps that came in this set. So I used these. Bye, Carla. So I used these two. And then I have some other stamps that are lines, and I stamped those. They were, I don't know what they were called. Some kind, here, I'll show them to you. They're these. Let's see, what are they called? Two-step stamping. There's some kind of perfect plaids. Okay, that's what this set was called. So it's just, to me, it's just a bunch of lines. And so that's what I used to get, I don't know if you can see the lines, but that's not impressive because the texture that you get is down inside. So that's pointless. So I didn't find that useful at all. The other part of it's useful. Okay. This one is a print plate. I just made this last night, so we have not used it. This is a virginal print plate. Okay, it has not been used yet. So we're going to crack it out and use it together here today. This is just a whole bunch of random stamps. Everything random. This is one of my face stamps on here. This is this stamp is this and this. There's a whole bunch of straw marks, and that other little black tube marks. There's some stars. Some of them are innies and some of them are outies. There's an innie, there's an outie, just depending on the stamp. Some of them have spirals, so it's just a whole bunch of random stuff. And this one I did pretty thin, and this is one that went in this is one that got affected by the oven that was a little too warm. So you can see it's not perfectly flat. So we're going to see how it prints. And then this one is a stamp. Okay. And this is a stamp made using that diamond shape, the smallest diamond shape, that I impressed some texture into with the needle tool. Do I ever teach about how to do an art journal? I do. I do. Innies and outies, no, we're talking about stamping, actually. And then these are using that black tube. I cut circles and stuck them on there. So this is a stamp as opposed to a print plate, which is like this. Okay, see the difference? One is raised, the surface is raised on the stamp. The print plate, everything's impressed into it. All right, so there you go. Hello, Glinda. All right, so that's how I made those. Pretty fun, huh? So now what we're going to do is we're going to play with them and see what we get. So we're going to put these off to the side. Like I said, this one has not been used yet. This is 2 colors because I had 2 colors of the Model Magic. You can buy it in these little packages, and I bought a set that were different flesh tones, and because I was going to use them for something, it didn't work out, so I have that left. All right, so let's put this away. Any questions? I don't know if I can answer them, but if you got questions, I will try. So we're going to just play. Just play. So I have a big sheet of Canson mixed media paper. Canson mixed media paper. This is where I've been cleaning off the brayer when I've been doing Gelli Plate printing. So we're just going to turn it over. And I'm going to get rid of the perforation. It does kind of look like a poinsettia, doesn't it? A little bit. It does a little bit. So I'm just getting rid of the perforation, which you can use these perforation things to make masks, use them for masks on your gel printing plate. I have so many of them, I don't save them, I throw them away now because I have plenty. Okay, let's just play with these plates, and let's start out with these 2. Okay, let's just start with these 2. And I'm going to use the Martha Stewart watercolor, soft gel watercolor acrylic craft paint. You can use acrylic paint. I just have these and I thought we'd play with them. I don't have a whole big bunch of them, but I have some. It is a misnomer to say that these are watercolor. Soft gel is accurate. Acrylic is accurate. Watercolor, yeah, not so much. They have some properties of watercolor, I think, but once they're dry, because they're acrylic, they're permanent. So that is not watercolor, but anyway. Okay, so I have some of these, so we'll play with those a little bit. I have a few colors of those, so we'll get some that I think are going to show up nicely. So I have a green, I have a red, and I have a blue. The specific colors are Dragonfly is the blue, Habanero is the red, and Green Pepper is the green. I know, watercolor, it's an oxymoron. It's an oxymoron. Yeah, yes it is. So I've got foam brushes, and I have a brayer in case I need it. And that's what I have. And before I started this whole thing, I put gloves in a bottle on my hands. This acts as a skin barrier. It does not prevent everything from going into your skin, but it does help you get crap off your fingers and your hands later. Okay. Other than that, I have a baby wipe and I have a cloth to dry the stamps off, or the print plate. Okay, so let's go for it and see what happens. Let's try this one because this one we haven't used yet. Marketing. These do have a different texture than a lot of regular acrylics, which is interesting to me. They do have more of a gel-like consistency. They are more transparent. So it is a little different. It is interesting. It's an interesting paint. Not super expensive, which is nice. Okay, here we go. We are just going to put some paint on here. I'm using foam brush to apply it. Then I'm going to slap it down on this sheet right here. I'm going to use the brayer. I'm not pushing very hard. I'm just trying to print it. And ta-da! You gotta admit that is pretty stinking cool, right? Mm-hmm. All right, there's still paint on here, so we're just gonna print it again. I'm holding the plate with my fingers so that it doesn't scoot on me. So this is first generation, second. Let's go again. Okay, third generation. So we got 3 prints out of it. All right, I'm going to do this again because I want to use up this paint that I squirted out. So this may not be as much of a print because there's not quite as much paint this time. So we're just going to come over here. We're going to print again. Again, I'm not pressing for all I'm worth. I'm just kind of even pressure. I know, it is awesome sauce, isn't it? Can you put the paper? You probably could, Aristi, but the paper, this is a big sheet of paper. And since I'm working under a camera, it could be pretty tricky. So yeah, we're gonna just go this way. But you probably could if you had a smaller piece of paper. All right, so that's all that I'm going to get out of this, but there is still some paint down in the little divots and stuff. So this is where I use something that's damp, not super wet, but damp, and gentle pressure, and just keep turning the damp cloth. Just because if you don't get the wet paint out of the details of this, it's just like on stencils. I know there are lots of people that don't clean their stencils, and that's perfectly fine with me. I clean them because I want the detail to print the way I want it to print the next time I use it. So, all right, so I've done that, and then I'm just going to use my dry cloth and just kind of dab it to try to get any of that excess moisture off of it. Now, I'm not going to ever get it back to completely every little bit of paint out of it, but I'm just going to get most of it, okay? And I would not put these under the faucet and wash them, ever, because I think you would be unhappy about that. Okay, so we're going to set that one to the side. Let's do this one, because this is another one this is the one, remember, that was made with that funny table runner thing. Could you make large print plates large enough to cover a sheet of paper? I don't know why you couldn't, Beth. Yeah, I don't know why you couldn't. I really don't. I think that's a good idea. That is a good idea. Okay, let's go with green. So this is what was this? Green pepper. And with any acrylic paint, of course, you want to shake it. That cloth could be a baby blanket. Yes. Yes. I'm sure you recognize that, Karen, since that's, I believe, the kind of work you do. I have a whole bunch of those because I don't know exactly how it works, but the hospital has to get rid of them or something. And so there's some guy that goes in and collects all that stuff and all the old towels and wash rags and all that kind of stuff. And then he distributes them wherever they need to go, and I happen to be one of the places where it needed to go, so I got some. Okay, so quickly put the paint on the plate, and I'm going to go for, and this is where it's really handy to have paper, junk paper, drop paper underneath, so you can go off the edges. And again, I'm going to use the brayer. Dollar General in Nevada sells clay for $3. The Crayola stuff, the Model Magic. Okay, so there's what it prints like. All right, let's go some more. So we're just going to keep going. Okay, second generation. The one thing about this kind of stuff is you need plenty of room. That's a good price. Very good. So if you have a Dollar General, look there. Okay. So we're going to do it again. We're going to just come over it, add a little more paint. This is like a lot of other things. Once you get the paint on the surface the first time, you don't have to put as much on after that. It's like priming. It's kind of like priming the surface. Am I making you hungry, Katie? Now they're talking about food in the chat. I tell you what. I am going to use a Gelli Plate. Yeah, this is just one of the things that we're doing with it. Because you can use them with your Gelli Plate as well, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we've done that. So once again, let's just use a damp rag. Kind of pull off most of the paint. And we're going to use one more on this one. We're going to do 2 sheets today because I love having my own sheets of paper and my own pieces of fabric done. Okay, so we got that. Let's dry it off a little bit. They look like little pizzas. They look like little colorful pizzas. Okay, so we're going to set this one to the side. And I don't stack them up. I let them live on their own so they can dry on their own. So let's do one more. This time we're going to use red. So this is habanero. And I'm using a different foam brush. I'm using a different foam brush for each color. Okay. These are interesting paints, I do have to say. I find them very interesting and intriguing. You can't dilly-dally around with this either because you got to get that paint on there and then print it. Otherwise, it's going to dry on you. And you don't have to cover the whole surface with paint. You could just do part of it if you wanted to. You gotta love that, don't you? Don't you have to love that? All right, I don't have to print the whole thing. I can print part of it. And putting my paper down here a little bit more. Again, just printing part. And this is the kind of thing that is much easier to do when you're not under a camera. You just move things around and print until the print is used up. Okay? All right, so we've got the paint off of that. Let's continue cleaning up. No, they're not liquid. They truly are a gel paint. They're very hard to explain. You just almost have to use one. It's closer to the true consistency of the true craft paints, but they are a gel. They're not as fluid as like golden fluid acrylics. They're a very weird little paint. Interesting, but strange. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put that over there. And I've got some paint left on my palette here. So what I'm going to do, and most of this is dry. I don't think there's much of anything that's, well, we'll hit it with the heat gun just to make sure over here. Where can you get a nice set of stencils? That's a good question. It just depends on what you're looking for and how thick you want the stencils to be or how thin you want them to be. Joggles has wonderful stencils. The Crafter's Workshop has wonderful stencils. You can also get stencils in the kids department at most stores that sell a big line of craft, or yeah, like a craft store that sells a lot of craft supplies. Most of the time you can buy stencils there as well, or you can cut your own. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I have a spray bottle of water. This is just water, and I'm just going to first of all get the electronics away. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add some water, and then I'm going to add some water to the palette using the same colors. Okay, and that is much more opaque than I thought it was going to be, so I'm going to just wipe it back. Okay, so let's go some more, this time using much less paint. Just filling in the background, but much more maybe a little bit over here. And because I like that blue turquoise color, I'm just going to make this sheet just the turquoise and the green. So I'm just using actually this is a napkin from when I was eating something here in the studio. It's the first thing I grabbed, so that's what I'm using. And this is Canson mixed media paper, that's why it will take the water. Although you can get to a point where you put too much on it and then you go, whoops, shouldn't have done that. Okay, so what we've got now is we have created a background with texture in the background, but by putting that layer of paint on it, it's sunk all of those texture stamps into the background. Okay? All right. So we're going to set this one off to the side, let it dry, and we're going to play with the next sheet here. See where I can put this so I don't get into it. Okay, so here's another sheet of the same paper. Yeah, I make cards and book covers and all kinds of stuff using these big sheets of paper, which I really like. Okay, so next up, we're going to get rid of the palette. So the palette's going to go away. Although I hate not using all that paint up. We're just going to have to bite the bullet and let it go. And then I have a Gelli Plate. This is the 8x10 Gelli Plate. Okay, so that's what this is. 8x10 Gelli Plate. this is from the Gelli Arts Company. And I have another brayer. So I have another brayer. I also have a journal that I'm going to use to clean off the brayer on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put paint on this, and then we're going to use it like a great giant stamp pad. So I'm still using the same paint. So this is Meyer Lemon, the same Martha Stewart soft gel watercolor acrylic craft paint. I don't think they could have made that name any longer if they tried. So I'm just putting paint on the gel plate. Okay. Like so, and then I'm going to brayer it off, clean off the brayer on my journal just to clean it off so that I don't leave all that paint on there. Okay, so then I'm going to grab a print plate, okay, and I'm just going to print. Okay, this is where I got to make room, folks. Hold on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink. Let's see if I can get this all in one place where you can see it. I'm going to put this on my gel plate, okay, Gelli Plate. I'm going to pick up whatever ink or paint it wants to pick up. Then I'm going to use a different brayer and brayer it on to the paper. You get a different look when you're doing it this way. So that is the process I'm going to be using. Just grabbing paint off of the plate, okay, and using it on to print with. So the plate becomes this great big giant stamp pad. At the same time, it is leaving impressions on the plate, okay, and we'll use that paint in a little while. And sometimes you can get multiple. Hi Signa, good to see you. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up a corner of that, and again print and print and print until there's no more paint left on that will print, that will come off. And I've got one more little space here. One more space on the plate, which is right here. And I might pick up a little bit more. So I have thoroughly marked up the plate, and I've got paint on the clay Model Magic print plate. Until it doesn't print anymore. So I'll just keep printing until it doesn't go anywhere anymore. I've been missing you, Signa. I was wondering about you the other day. It's nice to see you in the chat. Okay, so again, Now I'm done with this plate for the moment, so I'm going to clean it off so that the acrylic paint doesn't have a chance to dry in all the details and mess them up. So it's just mostly getting the excess paint off. Okay. So by now, this, whatever we have on here, might or might not print. So we'll try it. I'm just going to use white cardstock. You could use deli paper, you can use printer paper, you can use all kinds of things. So let's just see what we get from this. So you can see that it pretty much cleaned the plate off, and this is the print that resulted. So take a look at that. So now you've got a twofer. Now you've got a print that you made on the print plate, the Gelli plate or gel press plate, any kind of soft mono plate, and you've also got what you're printing. This is the reverse that you're printing on and making a big sheet of paper. Yeah, so how fun is that? So how much fun is that? Okay, so we're going to set that off to the side. So let's go again. Let's use a couple different colors. This time let's use the blue and the green. These are really pretty colors. These are the ones we used earlier. Oh no, this is Pool. Sorry, this is lighter. This is the Dragonfly. This is Pool. So it's a lighter blue. So let's use that, and we'll use this green, which is green pepper. I know, it is awesome. It truly, truly is. So let's put some of this on here. And, you know, you really don't know what you're going to get until you do it. I mean, it's just the way it is. You can't worry about the outcome. You just cannot worry about it. You just have to go for it and have fun and enjoy the process and see what you get. You get what you get, you know? But that's what I like. Some people do not like this way of doing stuff. They want to know exactly what the outcome is. They don't want messy fingers and so forth. They want it to be exactly, they want to know exactly what they're going to get when they're doing stuff. I'm going to put a little bit more of the Pool on here. I love it when I don't have any idea how it's going to come out. And then, so you've got two things that you're getting out of this, and then the third one that you get, the third thing you get is you get the brayer background on either a sheet of paper or on a journal like this, just depending on what you do. Okay, so back to our big sheet of paper, and I'm going to turn it this way, and we're going to pick one of these other plates. Let's do the circle one. Okay, so this is the circle one. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to pick up paint from the plate, and I'm going to transfer it. So there's paint. I'm going to transfer it over here to my big sheet of paper. I know, Annette, I don't know who it is, how people can work and be creative and have clean fingers. I truly don't know. I truly, truly don't know. All right, so you see the process that's going on. I'm not going to put this back and forth into the camera range every time, but you see what's happening. Okay, so here we go. So the whole point of this is twofold. I'm marking the plate, picking up paint, and creating a big sheet of paper. Okay, so we're going to do some more. Sue says painted fingers are her manicure. Me too. It's the only manicure I will ever have. I can tell you that for sure. I know some people have wonderful manicured fingernails. Not me. Never will. Never did. That's my idea of a nightmare. I used to take my mom to get manicures because for that period of time somebody else was in charge of her, which was wonderful. And she got her fingers done. And she was pampered. It was great. And they used to say to me at the nail salon, they'd say, well, don't you want to get your fingernails done? It's like, N-O. Don't ask me that question again. Kind of like glitter. It's like, no, thank you. Okay. So you see how cool that is? Look how cool that is. And these are all designs that you made up yourself. I know. I know. Dorothy's going to Big Craft Show in London on Sunday. How cool. That was going to be great, Dorothy. I'm so excited for you. That is wonderful. Have a wonderful time. Wish I were there to go with you. Wish I were there to go with you. Okay, so we're going to pull most of this paint off as much as we can. Dry it. Yeah, Debbie and her Debbie Boring, that's in the chat. Sent me glitter poop pills. She did. CB says, my nail lady says I'm her worst customer. You're always messed up. I think I could be worse than you. All right, now I'm going to hit this with a little bit of heat on top of this because there's a lot of paint on here, okay? When I do this, let me tell you this. When I do this, I am using a heat gun, which is disapproved of, but I have it way up above my plate. So I will show you because I want to dry some of this. You see this? There is a full 12 inches between me and the plate, between the hair dryer or the heat gun and the plate. Oh, I bet, Dorothy. Vicky's going to come up for Folk Festival. Oh, how fun is that? Where's that going to be, Vicky? Bev says her caregiver does her nails every Monday and by Wednesday. She does them every Monday, and by Wednesday you can't tell they were ever done. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not alone. Gelli Plate Rebellion, that's right. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to get some of this dry a little bit because I want to, the alternative is I could set it off to the side. And maybe we'll do that here too because it's pretty wet. Let's go to one of the other ones and let's use the let's use the stamp because I want to show you that. What time is it? 2:50. We're getting close to the end. I'm going to set this off to the side, let it dry a little bit more, and we'll see if we can get that print off of there. So here is one of the sheets that I did earlier, okay? And if you look here, you can see, since you know what the plates are, you'll be able to identify them. Here is that, this one is used up here. This one, I think you can see the diamonds in it, are here. Okay, you can see them in here. Here is the circle one. You can see right there, that's the one we just used down in here, and you can see that they're sprinkled throughout. Now this is the stamp that I made. So that's what we're going to do now with this, and then we'll pull that other print and see if we can get it to work. So I'm going to go back to my palette, and I'm going to use the black gel paint. Now this one I do highly recommend. This is Beetle Black. This is the same paint. Okay, these all have the clear lids on them. This is the soft gel watercolor acrylic craft paint. Okay, and you know why I like it? If you look at this, I think you can see even from this camera angle, it is transparent. Now I do find that this paint takes a little bit longer to dry, which is interesting, and it sometimes dries a little shiny, which that's cool, but it's transparent, and that's one of the things I like about this paint. And by the way, the background on this was done exactly the same way as I did the other one. I just thinned the paint way down, the same colors I was using, and just spread it across the surface. And you see this white spot right here? This is because that's where some of the Model Magic stuck to the paper. Yeah. Okay, so you just have to make do with that stuff. That was one of those learning things. All right, so here we go. I'm going to put some of this gel paint on the surface on my palette. Could be anything, but that happened to be a disposable palette. I'm going to grab another foam brush. So this is another just cheap foam brush. And I'm going to apply the paint kind of in a sideways kind of motion. Now you could also pick up the paint from a gel plate or a Gelli Plate in the same way. You could just spread that paint on one of your gel surfaces and pick up the paint from that. This is just a different way to apply the paint. And you know exactly how much paint you're putting on there because I'm applying it with a brush. And you can see over here that I let this petal here stick off the side. I'm a rebel like that sometimes. Okay, so we're going to put it down and we're going to use a brayer. Again, hold on to it, steady it, because if you don't, you're going to smear. It's going to slide and smear, but that's fun, and you can just put them wherever you want. The purple, happened because I used the pink, which was rose pink, and the dragonfly. That's where the purple came from, I do believe, because I don't have, I'm just looking to make sure I'm telling you the truth. I'm looking for my thing of paint. Hang on a minute. Yeah, I don't have that color. I don't have purple in the gel, watercolor, whatever they are. I don't have a purple, so it was just a combination of the pink and the turquoise that mixed together. Okay, so I'm going to do some more of this. When you're doing big sheets of paper, and I often do this, you don't have to do the entire sheet of paper with one design. You can just, I know, I'm giving you permission to not do the entire sheet of paper. And I like the second and third generations of the print because it gives it depth and variety. Okay, so you see how even at that point, that was like the fourth or fifth printing, I still got a little bit. Okay, so since I've told you that you don't have to print the whole sheet, I'm going to print the whole sheet. Because that's how I roll in today. Hello, Linda Pierce. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad each of you has joined me today. If you didn't know, we publish a daily newspaper. It's free. If you go to HowToGetCreative.com, under the top menu, there is a tab that says News, and you can subscribe, and you'll get it in your inbox every day. It's free. You get a lot of inspiration. I get a lot of inspiration, and I've heard other people really enjoy it as well. So anyway, it is free and you're welcome to do that. I'm probably pushing this a little far here because I'm starting to tell that the plate's getting a little, it feels like it's disintegrating a little bit, and when that happens, you need to stop, let it dry, and then go again later. But of course, I'm not willing to do that. So now I'm not using the brayer, I'm just using the pressure of my hand to just put a little bit more on here. Now you could do the same thing with white. Okay, we're going to call it good. But I just think that is, personally, I think that is a beautiful paper. Okay. So we've used the print plates and also the stamp idea. Isn't that, you gotta love that, people. Honestly, if you don't like that, I can't help you. I can't help you. Okay, let me clean this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull the print off that plate. I know. Isn't that cool? So gently, gently, when you clean your plate, your little, see that a little corner broke off there. Gently, gently. If you are heavy-handed, this is not the thing for you to do, I promise you, unless you're willing to make new ones very frequently. Gently. Okay. So let's go back to this. This should be about dry at this point. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a color on top of it. I don't know how this is going to work, so let's just go for it and see what happens. This is the gold. Same thing. This is the gel watercolor acrylic. Okay, Martha Stewart Crafts soft gel watercolor acrylic craft paint. There you go. Now, I am going to put a heavier coat of this paint on than I normally put on the plate. Now watch, this won't pull up a thing, but you know, we'll always wish it did, right? All right, so we've got a nice coat of paint. Clean off the brayer. Put on a piece of, we're going to use deli wrap this time. Just because I like deli wrap, and if this doesn't pull it all up, we'll pull it up, the rest of it, with something else. Usually I use cardstock to do this, so we'll see how this works. Might not have been my best choice, but no, it's not. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this off, because what it took, I should use cardstock. What it took was the gold. Still cool, but it's not what I was after. So we're going to go back, and I'm going to put the gold on again. Do I want to put gold? I may put black on it. May put black on it, just for fun. Why not? Let's see what happens. Gelli Plate Printing or Gel Plate Printing, they're two different companies. The Gelli Plate company is one company. The Gel Press Plate is a different company. And if you haven't done it for a while, you have to get back into it and practice. And last night was the first time I pulled out my plates in a while. I don't know what butter brought paper is. Ellen, you're not speaking the language I know. Hi, Azure Muse. Good to see you. Hi, Pamela. Okay. Ellen must have been talking to somebody else, not me. All right, let's see what we got going on here. This does take pressure. And you need to let the paper sit on here long enough that everything kind of absorbs and attaches, and the wet paint picks up the dry paint, and the paper picks up the whole thing. This is white cardstock, 65 pound. All right, I still didn't get it all, but we got some of it. Yeah, not my favorite print. So this is one of those. See, I told you, sometimes it works great and sometimes it doesn't. We're not going to give up. We're going for another one. So, yeah, you can see some of the printing under here. So black wasn't a great choice. But, hey, we had to try it, didn't we? When in doubt, go the opposite. So we're going to put on white. Shall we put it? Let's not do white. Let's do something else. Let's do something really weird. Let's do whatever this is. Wild salmon. Okay. And so we're going to use this one. See what we get this time. If this doesn't do it, we'll revert back to the craft paint instead of the gel plate or jelly, the gel watercolor paint. Hey, Christy girl, that's my granddaughter. You probably knew that when she said, "Hey, Graham," huh? Christy, how's that Ari doing? Christy has a new kitten named Ari. He is black and white, and just as he is a kitten in the truest sense of the word. Christy lives in Alabama. She's very far away from me. She's my favorite granddaughter. I can say that because she's the only one. Yeah, it's just being ornery. It's not pulling up as much as I wanted. But again, you get some interesting prints. This is much cooler in person. Can you see that? Look at all that texture. And you can still see some of the color coming up. So that's an interesting one. That would be good for die cuts and so forth. Okay. With that being said, since I didn't get, some really cool print off of this, I will clean this off. And what I use to clean it with is, this is what I use to clean the plate. Purell Advanced Hand Sanitizer. That's what I use to clean it. And I've tried different brands, and that's the brand that I happen to like the best. So anyway, I'll clean this up later when we're done. Okay, does anybody have any questions? You want... Oh, no, I don't need it. That's okay. Yeah, you can use... Clausman came up and got the packing tape for me, and the packing tape will pull it off, too. I'm not going to take the time to do that, but packing tape will pull it off. So that's another way that you can clean the plate. Put the packing tape on it, and you can pull it off that way, too. Yeah, that is another thing. So anyway, they're pretty. I mean, actually, they're kind of pretty pulls, but you know how it is. You get one thing in your head and you think, oh, that's what I want it to do. And then you go, yeah, it's not what I thought it was going to be. All right. I don't see anything else that I have to do or to tell you. So, anybody have any final questions, final thoughts, final whatevers? If not, we are going to take off. So, I should probably, what does one do with packing tape afterwards? You can actually use it in your journals, or you can throw it away. That's the other thing you can do. But it does make cool tape transfers. So you can do some really interesting things with it. Like you can use the packing tape to add to journal pages or the binding edge of books and stuff like that. I forgot the sponsors. Can you believe it? I almost forgot them again. That will never do. So, got to make some room here. So, this is your last chance to ask any questions. Just setting up, because the sponsors, as we know, have their own camera. Every once in a while somebody says, why do you call them sponsors? Well, I call them sponsors because they let me stream. Usually. Okay, I think we're ready. And I don't think I have too much paint on the table here. It's a regular production to get them out here. It's a regular production. All right, let's see if they're ready. Yeah. You're always ready, aren't you? You're always ready. Yes. You are always ready. Chance is always ready to come see the people. How long does it take for the clay to dry? I would say 24 to 48 hours. Yeah. Unless you're desperate and you throw it in the oven with the light bulb on. Yeah. Can you tell I was desperate? Yeah. All right. And here he is in living color. Charlie's in the window. So he's sunning himself. So here's Mr. Chance, ready for his close-up. All right. So thank you everybody for being here. Chance and I will close out the show. He lets me stream. Charlie's in the window. He's being a good boy. He's coughing in the other room because that's what Charlie does. He likes to celebrate the end of the stream by coughing. So anyway. All right. I will see you guys next Friday. Thank you for being here. And remember to get creative today because you know it's easy. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.